lot talked about in VR. VR is not just a new gadget. Just as your cell phone is not a new gadget. It's a brand new computing platform. When NVIDIA was first started, because of LCD displays, your mobile device, when the LCD display had just come out. Prior to that, it was really CRTs. If it wasn't because of the LCD displays and making it possible for you to have thin displays, light displays, displays you can hang on the wall, computer graphics would never have been nearly as prolific as it has become. If it wasn't because of LCD displays, your mobile device wouldn't be nearly as useful as it has become. Because of those dynamics, the confluence of several factors has made it possible for virtual reality to happen, for virtual reality to become a reality. Head-mount displays are now light, the resolution is high, computer graphics performance is incredible. The combination of all of that is going to enable this new platform to allow new applications and new experiences to be possible. Now, we've already talked about video games. Video games is relatively clear. Who wouldn't want to be on the field of battle? Who wouldn't want to be running down the hall, chasing down monsters? All of those types of experiences are very natural, and you can imagine that extrapolation into VR. It's also very natural to imagine that VR would change how we design, experience products. Virtual design of cars, essentially a virtual showroom, so that you could look at your car design on a daily basis instead of after you create the clay from it. You could be literally standing next to that car. Architectural design, of course, very, very obvious things. But there's some things that are really kind of cool about VR that we're starting to think about. Now, of course, VR could take you to places that you can only dream of. Places that are too dangerous, for example. Places that are too far. Places that are beyond your ability to reach. Those kind of experiences are also possible in VR. Some of the things that I'm super excited about in the future of VR, how VR is going to transform communications. There was a demo that was recently done by Microsoft, their HoloLens. The HoloLens demo is really quite groundbreaking. If you haven't had a chance, take a look at it on the web. But basically, you can put on your head mount, put on your glasses, the HoloLens glasses, and you can be communicating, you can be talking to somebody who is very far away, and that person is literally standing in front of you. Science becomes a reality. Really, really amazing thing. Well, today, during this show, we're going to take you to some places that you probably only dreamed of and you can't imagine going. The first of that experience is Everest. Now, what we've done, and you can see this at the VR Village. What we've done is we've partnered with several really fantastic companies. So far, VR Studio and the RVX, the Effects Studio, worked together with us to recreate the Mount Everest experience. Basically, what's happened is we've taken 108 billion pixels of images, used a technology called photogrammetry to reconstruct Mount Everest, pixel by pixel, recreated into 3D, 10 million polygons in this room, in this scene, and then used physics to simulate the swirling snow. All of that is going to be now displayed for you in real time. This is not a movie. In real time, in 3 full HD displays. Let's play it for the team.
She has many names. To some, she is Sakamata, the goddess of the sky. To others, she is the apex experience, awe-inspiring, unforgiving, the pinnacle of human achievement. We know her as Everest.
Is that incredible, guys? That's great. Good job. So far, RVX, great partners. By the way, 108 billion pixels. That's the equivalent of 14,000 8-megapixel photographs on an iPhone 6. 14,000 camera shots came together in this computer program, reconstructed into 3D, and now you could navigate through it. Okay, so please go and enjoy that. Now that's a place that I can only dream of going. I can only dream of going, but I can imagine going. There are places where you can dream of going, and it's just not likely you're ever going to go. And so over the last several years, we've worked with engineers and scientists at NASA and Fusion VR to recreate meticulously Mars. Taking dozens of, well, photographs from dozens of satellite flybys of Mars. We've meticulously reconstructed the surface using photogrammetry. 8 square kilometers of the Mars surface has been recreated for your enjoyment. Rocks hand sculpted, 1 million of them placed in an informed way based on the satellite images. The design of the rover, the design of the habitat, the design of the spacesuit, all original designs from NASA. And working together, we recreated the Mars experience for your enjoyment here at GTC. It's going to be enjoyed for the very first time. Now, this environment is really quite amazing. The rover is physically simulated, so when it's bumping up and down the Mars terrain, it's reacting in a physically correct way. The lighting in the environment is wonderfully done, wonderfully rich. Global illumination is applied. High dynamic range is applied. There's even a lava tube. I understand that because of the gravity of Mars is only 1/3 of here on Earth. As the lava carves through the subterranean caves, it leaves these massive caves and they don't collapse. And these caves are absolutely huge. And you can only enjoy it by being in virtual reality. We could show it to you on screen, but it won't come near the grandeur that you will experience, that you're standing in front inside this cavern. Well, I guess the theory is that when we go to Mars, our habitats will be built in these caverns, these mile-long caverns, underground caves, so that we could be out of harm's way of radiation from space. Incredible, incredible recreation of Mars. Well, let me show it to you right now. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? Now imagine you're going to have head-mount displays in the VR village downstairs. You're now in the rover. Even the sound in the rover was recorded by driving the rovers and Johnson Space Center. Okay, so this will just give you a sense of the experience you're about to have. Now, before we go any further, the question really is, if we were to send somebody to Mars, and we wanted to send an astronaut to Mars, who would we send? And who deserves the first ticket to Mars? And who would be more excited to be the first inhabitant of Mars? Well, when we think about it, there's only one adult childlike explorer who loves to do something nobody has ever done, wants to be first at everything. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Wozniak. Steve.
Hi, Jen-Hsun.
How are you? I'm so excited.
Great to be here.
First of all, we recreated Mars. And engineers and scientists and artists have worked meticulously, painstakingly to recreate every detail. And now, after billions of dollars of R&D, we have now put ourselves in a position where we're ready to send one lucky astronaut. One lucky astronaut. And I heard an interview recently where you said that you would place you would buy a ticket right off the bat for a one-way trip.
Absolutely. I've signed up for a few.
For a one-way trip. Now you were the first to build. You built the world's first personal computer. You built the world's first a whole bunch of stuff, and in fact, you were part of a company called Fusion.io, and you built the world's first high-speed streaming storage SSD based on an SSD, so that we can have high-performance computing. And it turns out we're using a lot of that technology. You were first in a lot of things, and we thought that it would be great if you were the first to Mars, and this might be a one-way ticket.
I am totally honored, Jen-Hsun, and NVIDIA makes it possible. Let's see. I haven't done it yet.
And so why do you want to go to Mars, first of all?
I don't know. It's just one of those extreme things. It's such an important step for humanity because it's so hard to do. It's so hard to get there. There are so many scientific obstacles that we have to overcome.
And what do you want to do when you get there?
Well, actually, whenever anybody gets there, I want to experience it in VR. I've been saying that for a long time now.
Now, if it was possible, I'm serious here. If it was actually possible to go, would you actually go?
Yes, I would.
You would? Uh-huh.
Yes, I would. Absolutely.
And when you get there, what would be your profession? What would you do? So you've been a computer architect.
Learning.
You've been a teacher.
Studying, learning, communicating what I saw, inspiring other people to want to go there, maybe escape Earth, global warming and all.
Okay. Well, I think that the first thing you should do when you land, and so I want to tell you this just as a favor for humanity. When the first thing you should do when you land is please find Matt Damon.
I think the first thing I'm going to do, if it's live video streamed back to Earth, I'm going to use my feet and dig out the letters "Mom." Hi, Mom.
Ladies and gentlemen, the experience that Steve is about to have has actually never been done before, and I've not tried it yet, and I wanted to save that moment for Woz. So, Woz, why don't you go ahead and try it? Tell us how it is.
Whoa.
You look great.
Just a moment. Yes.
Oh, this is going to be big, you guys. You look great.
Supposedly I can maneuver myself. I picked up the controller backwards.
Are you familiar
I'm
with
walking
gaming?
around. Yeah, now I've got to find the rover, though. There's the rover. Whoa.
Now, ladies and
My
gentlemen,
God.
I have to say something.
Why do I feel weird? I feel weird like I'm actually moving and getting dizzy. And I think I'll enter the rover. Now I'm in the rover. I can spin it around a little. Whoa.
Now, all of this
gosh.
is made possible by our friends at Cisco. So, I contacted Roland Trolla, who heads the Cisco telepresence. You know what? Look at what's happening here. I'm talking to Woz. His experience is actually being back to us, streamed back to us. Okay, so we're experiencing what he's experiencing from his VR classes.
Wow.
All of this stuff, Roland and his team jumped on this, set all this stuff up for us, literally in a day. Literally in a day. So I want to thank Roland. I want to thank Cisco, and yeah, really appreciate that.
You won't believe the feelings when you do it.
On the ground, Scott Newman and the team, you guys are doing a fantastic job. It's amazing what you guys pulled off in just a day. Okay, hey, Woz, I'm going to go back to do my job and enjoy
Okay.
Mars. This is not a one-way ticket. When you find Damon, could you just let us know?
Okay.
Tell him we're looking for him.
Am I on Everest after global warming? Is that it?
You know, look, this is a trip to Mars. This is not a trip to Everest.
This is going to be incredible for whoever gets to really do it. I'm getting dizzy. I'm going to fall out of this chair.
Well, Woz, that was not a helpful comment.
Whoa.
All right, brother.
Can't thank you enough,
Yeah, I'll let
Jen-Hsun,
you
for
know
this
when you can help me
opportunity.
again.
Oh my gosh, what NVIDIA has made possible.
All right,
Really?
you guys. Thanks a lot, Steve. Enjoy Mars. First astronaut on Mars. Okay, so virtual reality. In these examples, we're trying to make virtual reality as realistic as possible. However, in many different types of applications, for example, design, product design, architectural design, realistic is not enough. It's got to be real. It's got to be photoreal. And in that particular case, you need a whole new type of rendering technology. So the rendering technology that you were seeing, they were running on a GeForce GTX Titan. That performance is really fantastic. However, that level of performance is simply not enough if you want to create something that is really photoreal. In order to create something photoreal, you have to follow photons as it bounces around the room, as it bounces through, as it goes through glass, as it refracts, as it picks up different, as the wavelength of the light changes when it interacts with different surfaces. All of that has to be physically simulated, or your eyes simply will not believe that what you're looking at something is photoreal. Now, in the case of design, it's utterly important. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're announcing Iray VR. Iray VR. Nobody would think that it's possible. This is actually a stunt that I didn't think was possible. The idea that a supercomputer would be used to render a scene taking several hours. I mean, this is no different than Pixar rendering their film, and an entire supercomputer is used to compute each and every frame meticulously. And it takes days and days and days to eventually recreate that movie for final composition. This is no different. Here we're creating a scene, we're creating a room, but we have to create it in real time. Well, it turns out that ray tracing simply doesn't have the ability to do that. And so the team created a brand new technology. They basically rendered light probes throughout the area of the room that you would like to interact with. These light probes are basically entire light fields from that spot, how light would emanate from that spot. Each one of these probes is essentially a 4K render, and each one of these 4K renders takes approximately 1 hour on one box of 8 GPU server. 1 hour. We render 100 of these probes, which means 100 hours were dedicated to rendering the probes that go into this particular photorealistic room. Next, on a workstation with Quadro M6000, it needs to have a really, really large frame buffer so that all of these light probes could be resident in the frame buffer. We then rasterize the scene from the point of the eye to figure out the depth and which one of the light probes is the most appropriate to pick off the sample from, which is then mixed, filtered, processed, so that it looks appropriate from that eye. So that eye is picking up the information that was rendered from the combination of those 100 light probes. Okay? And so Quadro M6000 does the rasterization and does the composition. And then lastly, with very, very, very low latency, and all the work that we did with VRWorks and the integration into the head-mount displays and the integration into the engine, we can now allow you to enjoy VR in Iray. Now, Iray in VR. Now, the thing that's really, really, really amazing, it's just utterly beautiful. And it's something that you have to go enjoy. But I want you to be able to enjoy here. So let's take a look at this. So this is a head-mount display. What you're looking at is NVIDIA's new headquarters. And in fact, until this was done, until they did Iray VR, I had never been inside my building before. Now, this building is designed to be energy efficient. And so all the windows that you see in the ceiling is intended to let light in. But just enough light And the light and the angles of those triangles are designed so that during different times of the year, the light doesn't come into the building and heat up the interiors of the building, making it uncomfortable. And so we're trying to use as much natural lighting as possible. And so the rendering of this building and making sure that it's comfortable, well lit, and uses as little energy as possible is really important. And look at this. The polished concrete. I had never been in our building before. All of this is in real time, and it's in 3D. And the lighting is so beautiful. I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this building. 500,000 square feet. It's going to house somewhere between 2,000 to 3,000 NVIDIA employees. This is their phase 1. And that is a building inside a building. It's the heart of the building. You come in through the center of that heart. You park underneath this building. We put all the cars underground because, here in Silicon Valley, our weather is really fantastic. And so no sense reserving all that wonderful climate just for cars. So we put all the cars underground, and eventually one of these days, all the cars will park by themselves. And so you'll just get out, and your car meanders down this ramp and finds a parking space and, future building. Okay? Iray VR, you guys, this is really incredible. 100 light probes now rendered on a workstation. Well, not too many people have supercomputers, though. Not too many people have supercomputers with Iray on it. You hit a button, it goes off and renders 100 light probes. It goes off and renders light field from 100 different positions. And then you put that on a workstation, you put that head-mount display on, and it's rasterizing in real time, and then recompositing from those 100 light probes to create this virtual reality environment. Well, this is going to be unbelievable for people who are doing architectural walkthroughs. It's going to be unbelievable for people who are designing cars, people who are doing serious projects. However, virtual reality has taken off everywhere, as you know. Cardboard, Google Cardboard, is being handed out to everybody. It was distributed by New York Times. It's available on Samsung Gear VR. It's going to be available on mobile devices all over the world. We want people to be able to enjoy VR irrespective of the computing device they have. And so one of the things that we're going to do, and this is really exciting, we made Iray VR Lite. This little brother of Iray. Basically, the way it works is this. It's not able to render the full 3D as beautifully as Iray VR. However, with just a press of a button, so long as you design in 3ds Max or Maya or whatever design tool that has Iray integrated, with just a press of a button, it creates a photosphere. And that photosphere is completely ray traced. That photosphere is completely ray traced. You download, your plugin, Iray plugin, or it's integrated, and then you download an Android viewer, and you grab yourself a cardboard box, the Google Cardboard, which is fantastically clever, or you get a ViewMaster with a phone stuck inside it. You download this app, and you now enjoy VR. We have this experience at the show floor. Give it a try. It's really, really fantastic. Iray VR. It's our second thing. So now let's talk about something really big. VR is going to be an incredibly big platform. I'm super excited about that. One of the biggest things that's ever happened to computer graphics, but one of the biggest things that's ever happened to computing. And I think we're going to realize, looking back, that this is one of the biggest things that's ever happened is AI. 5 years ago, the big bang of modern AI happened. Amazing AI computer scientists discovered new algorithms that made it possible to achieve levels of results and perception using this technique called deep learning that nobody had ever imagined. But the confluence of several things happened. The availability of lots of data that was labeled, and the availability of a processor called a GPU that was really abundantly used, abundantly available, came together and created the big bang of modern AI. Over the course of the last 5 years, so much development has happened. You have seen one announcement after another announcement, one article after another article, and there's so much to capture. But I think as we look back on 2015, 2015 is going to be a defining year for modern AI, and I argue for computer science, for computer industry, and very, very likely for all of humanity. That this year marked something quite special.